Hi, guys. Before we begin the episode, I want to tell you about an amazing website that could help you get your health back. I know that sounds like a big statement to make, and I know a lot of you out there have been concerned about your health. There's a website that could change your life and potentially even save your life. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Just please go on there, watch the videos, sign up to watch the videos, and learn how you could get your health back to the way it was prior to COVID and even better. All right, welcome to the latest episode of Blood Money. Today we have a very special guest, Alan Fangwei. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Van. I'm doing well. Yeah, thank you. And hello, everyone. Great to be here.
Yeah, so I met Alan at a convention recently, and Alan's got a very fascinating past. He is from China, went to school in the United States, and has really been speaking out against a lot of the tyranny and oppression that we see via the CCP. He's a very popular influencer, speaks to a Chinese audience that is interested in hearing about freedom principles, interested in really the march against socialism. So, Alan, let's just dive right into it. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started as an influencer and the work that you currently do.
Then, I grew up in China. I went to college in China. So after that, I came to the United States as a graduate student. So this is a very typical, overseas Chinese students' journey. So after that, I went to Silicon Valley. I was working in high-tech industry, writing software. I never thought of doing media or YouTube or radio, whatever, or getting on this show. Never thought about that, okay, at all. So pretty much, I'm just a technologist, dreaming to have my own high-tech firm. And until someday in the 1999, then there was persecution, a terrible persecution that happened in China against a meditation exercise called the Falun Gong. And then I was reporting Falun Gong. I was very familiar with that, and I was really upset and totally shocking to see Chinese American media really just walk the party line. I'm talking about the American Chinese media walking the Chinese government's party line.
Wow.
So that surprised me, upset me. So I started to do a amateur radio on the side besides my high tech job, and that side job I'm basically broadcasting uncensored information to Chinese American at that time. So but the job is a lot of fun, and it's very intense. Took a lot of energy and time. I just figured I just cannot do this double track anymore. So I left the high-tech industry, focused totally on radio at that time. So actually, we built the largest Chinese language public radio in this country. So broadcast in San Francisco Bay Area and all the 10 cities, major metropolitan cities in the U.S. where Chinese people populate. And then and then we also, in the meantime, we also broadcast into China through shortwave. For those of you who have some age, shortwave is the Cold War, radio war. So we build about 120 stations broadcasting to China every day, and probably 20 million people listen to us. And then so then I also started to do YouTube, and my attention gradually focused on America politics, or the constitution, tradition, more and more, because I live here, and the situation does require my a lot of deserve a lot of attention. So that's where I'm at. That's also the reason why I went to that conference. There was a special talk, but anyway, that's where I come from.
So before the show, we were talking about what would happen to you if you went back to China. Could you please tell the viewers what would happen to you, sir, if you decided right now I'm going to hop on a plane and go back to China?
Yeah. So then there are nearly 20,000 media in China. Okay. Every single one is state-owned. There's no single private-owned media. So information is under total control.
Which,
So what
by
do
the
we
way,
do?
Canada's doing the same thing. It's worth mentioning Canada's doing the same thing, which is absolutely insane. They've got pretty much rid of all the independent media off the social media. They've done everything to basically drown out all the independent media. Most of the media in Canada is state controlled or financed by the state, which is crazy because that is right out of the CCP party's prototype.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know Canada is that bad, but the China, the control is so severe that you lose your job, or you lose your freedom if you report something so-called wrong. Okay, so to answer your question, Van, what do we doing today through shortwave and also through the firewall, how to say, penetration software? I also, develop, this firewall, national firewall penetration software, so that we can bring in, content like Voice of America or the American medias into China. And so if I were to go to, China, I land in Shanghai airport, some, national security guy will meet me there and will, take me away right away and and put him away. I won't be able to see you guys anymore. That's the situation I face.
Wow, wow. I mean, and much respect to you because a lot of us over here in the United States are horrified at the censorship. And when you talk about uncensored media, as somebody from China, and you put skin in the game. I mean, you can't go back to China without getting thrown into a prison, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
That's
Wow. Much
one.
credit to you. Much credit to you. Much credit to you because we need to hear these Chinese voices who have had experience. I mean, I started noticing that all is not well in China when I was a very young man with what happened in Tiananmen Square. I'm curious, did that have an effect on you? What do you think about what happened in the early 90s in China there?
Yeah, and during the June 4th, 1899, I was in my junior year. Okay, I was in the college. As you know, college students, they are the vanguards. They are the main people that was joined that protest. They put that protest together. So through that, I really learn a lot. Okay, so actually, then believe it or not, before the Tiananmen Square massacre, young people like me, we were full of hope. Because after this 30 years tyranny, China sort of opened up. It seems the party is letting go of some control. We see Americans coming in, and we hear their voice. We were excited, and the politics was kind of accommodating. So we were full of hope. Okay, until that massacre, through which we learned that while the regime opened up economy only, they do not share power. That's their bottom line, and it's when any threat to that, they won't hesitate resorting to tanks and machine guns and killing people. So that just dashed all the hopes of young people like us. So I came to the United States as a graduate student, and that's also some sort of running away from that country. Yeah, so in the 1990s, more and more of my classmates came to the U.S. or Canada or Australia. Sort of seeking freedom and also, of course, seeking advanced study so that we can, just show more of our potential. That's where we come from. Since then, China has, a lot of change has been happening there. They were able to trick the U.S. and the free world into believing in them. So they were able to join WTO in the 2001, in November of 2001. That's a major bad milestone, through which they join the international family, and they continue their subsidizing the business, continue the currency manipulation, continue all those cheating, and while keep promising the West, we're getting there, Then allow me to say this, the naive Americans and international community just accept their word as is. So since then, we're talking about a 23-year strong growth. They're able to grow to be number one economy. Now they are posing serious threat to the livelihood of the free world, and including this country.
Let's talk about. We were talking about the march to socialism, march to communism. I mean, it seems like you saw this coming a long time ago.
Yeah, it's when I was doing radio, I see the change in this country. I was, I was mainly based in San Francisco. Okay, I see those homelessness. I saw those, those the drug problem and crime running rampant. I couldn't believe it. I see the march. Okay, of that at that time mainly it was San Francisco march, towards socialism. I was them. This is my feeling. I was sitting there in disbelief. I said, "What? Don't they know we tried this before? It
Mm-hmm.
did not work. How could
Mm-hmm.
America want to try this again?" So until later,
Mm-hmm.
I realized it is not that simple. Okay, because the students do not learn about the history that we learned in the last century. Okay,
Yeah.
130 million people died through this expensive and social experiment, which is a total failure. So
130 million,
they
you said.
don't know. Sorry.
130 million, you said?
Yeah, this is depends
Wow.
on different number, but altogether all over the world, yes, 100, at least 130 million people perished under
Wow.
the ruling of the communism. People in this country, they don't know, especially young people, so they want to try it out. It looks a very cool idea, right? Just let's even out the wealth so that everybody got a piece. It's equality and so on and so forth. So we were watching in disbelief that this country would fall for something that we have already tried. We
You
know
know,
it.
you said something earlier. You said naive Americans, and I got to tell you, I can't agree with you more. I can't agree with you more because having come from an ancestry that's seen a lot of things like communism and tyranny, it blows my mind that the lack of curiosity in the American public, they just are, they believe what they are spoon fed. They don't go beyond that. They are brainwashed by the mainstream media. And like you say, I mean, there is so much evidence that this communism, socialism thing is a horrible idea, leads to horrible places, but yet nonetheless, there's actually a section of the American public fully willing to walk into socialism, it seems.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, I don't know, Vem, I don't know whether you know where all this came from. Through one of my interview. Okay, I have one. I interview a person. I'm a journalist myself. Okay, I interview a gentleman. His name is called Curtis Bowers. Do you know him, Curtis Bowers?
Curtis Bauer sounds familiar. Please refresh my memory.
Yeah, he was he is a film producer, and then he told me a story. Okay, this is a 1.5 hour long interview, and it was really shocking to me. And so I did this interview in 2018. So he told me about a story in the 1992. He was a student in the university in Colorado, and one day his professor said, I attend this American Communist annual conference every year, and then they recognize me. They don't want me to come. So I'm still curious. I'm still curious. I want you to find out what they're up to this year. So can you go there instead? Okay. He said, okay, that's fine. So went over there. It was UC Berkeley. Okay. It was a conference there. It's called it was a branch of American Communist Party called Committee of the Correspondence, I think. They borrowed this name from this, American Revolution time, where the founding fathers, they set up a commission of correspondence. Anyway, so they set it up there, and he thought it's just a bunch of young people, okay, just youngsters, just unsettled, that kind of people. No, they were people in the 50s or 60s. They got suitcases, they wear dresses, and their agenda to him after he sat through, and he was so shocked what he heard about. They said Soviet Union fall apart. Okay, Plan A is doomed. We have to go for Plan B, and Plan B is we need to, in order to take the power of the United States, we gotta attack the pillars that support the prosperity of the America. And what are those? Because as long as people living good life, they don't want to change. Okay, so we got no chance. So 3 pillars they talk about, at least 3. The first is the small business. Small business is the source of the the dynamics of the American economy. So we need to increase the cost so that to just kill them in their early stage. And the way to do that is through environmental control, okay, which involve in climate change. Just because small business is very fragile, right? If you lose money, you could just fold. You fold anyway because it's very difficult in the beginning. If you give them extra constraint, you're gonna just kill them much easier. And then the mid business grow from small business, large business grow from mid business. So if you kill them in the beginning, that's very effective. The second is the unit family of the American. The family is the stable factors of this country. Then just encourage us to work out, seek equal right, and so on and so forth. The third one is about the faith. The faith. They talk about the homosexuality, and then those are in direct conflict with the teaching of the religious.
Yeah.
So just promote homosexuality. That would cast doubt upon the religious like Christianity. And anyway, so he said there, he was sitting there in disbelief. He said, "What kind of evil people are this? And their plans is so absurd. I won't need to worry about them in my lifetime. This is too far-fetched." So he walked away. He reported to his professor, and he put it aside until 2009. He told me that one day a businessman approached him. At that time, he was a legislator in the state of Idaho. So a businessman approached him and saying that, "I got this problem. You cannot pass this law. It's going to kill my business. This is environmental law." So that reminded him. Okay, he said, "What? Does that mean they are carrying on what they decided then?" So he went back to check all the names and where they are today, because he got all of their name list. He found out they're all in high positions in Obama's administration and so on and so forth. That really shocked him. So he set out to produce a documentary, which is called "Grinding Down America." Anyway, then there's a lot of story, very moving story. You should interview him someday, okay? So what I mean is this. Yeah, that story is not a story, okay? It's a personal experience. From my point of view, Ben, this is not conspiracy. This is truth. Because I know how communists work. We grew up there. We experienced them, with ourselves. So, beneath everything here, beneath media's taking side and moving to the extreme left, Hollywood's doing the same thing. Well, losing our kids at school, they all happen for a reason. It's not really just a trend or just happened to be so. Something's working there. So that's really, really worried me. I said, this is wrong. Okay, America is the country who led the effort to bring down Soviet Union, to bring down last version of communism. Now America want to try communism by themselves. Yeah, this cannot be allowed to happen. This is absurd. This is wrong. And this shall be, rectified. That's how I feel about that.
I'm from Hollywood, and what's crazy is the amount of people in Hollywood that are actually part of this. When you tell them that, hey, there's an agenda to kill businesses, kill family, kill faith, I hear stupid things like, well, we're not cool with hate. And how they define hate is if I say something like, it's not okay to make Easter become a trans national day, which is what Joe Biden did. And so you see the attack on the family. So if you say, it's not okay to make Easter that, all of a sudden you're branded as a homophobe, and these statements that seem to be attack statements that are put in people's minds to basically look at the world in a very black and white point of view without seeing the shades of gray. Because what you're saying from your experiences, having grown up in China, and also from hearing these conferences, is that it's a 3-point plan: kill business, kill family, kill faith. And we saw with COVID how small businesses were killed. We see how faith is being killed by measures like calling Easter transnational day or whatever they're doing. And anybody that's watching knows there's attacks on the family. I mean, there's 22 million fathers that by our own supreme family courts don't see their children. So it's systematic. It's also in the media, how men are usually portrayed as weak, bumbling characters as opposed to the strong father character, which we used to see in the 70s and 80s. So this seems like an attack on every level, with the mainstream media being used, with our institutions being used. Would you think something like this would be possible in the United States?
Yeah, I couldn't think that was possible, but it's happening in front of our eyes. What I observe is this, Ben. I don't know whether you observe the same thing. I talk to Americans, and whenever I go, I ask them, so are you aware of this? How do you see the reason? What's the root reason? Very, very small minority of people know the reason. Okay, they just think this is a trend. My kids love those. What can I say? It's their life. It's their world. I just, I run into parents just like that. Answer me like that. Okay, so this is what I call as being naive. Okay, they are not aware somebody's trying to steal away their country. They think this is just a trend, young people's trend, and America needs to wake up. this woke thing. Okay, I think, well, the ultra left, they stole all the right, right word, good word. That's what they're good at. Okay, and I'm so familiar with this kind of tactics in China. When they use and stole all the good words and to their cause, we call that a cause, and then left and then left the good people, the normal people, just speechless. And actually, America needs to wake up to this issue, to those issues, all this trend. There's things behind it. They're socialist, they're communist. The ultimate goal is to grab the power at the cost of the sacrificing America's prosperity and the freedom and the tradition. So it's something very bad. People needs to be alert for, needs to be waken up.
So let me ask you this. There's a lot of people in our political realms and also in media that are very much part of this campaign towards socialism and communism. Do you think these people are paid to do that sort of thing? Why is there so many in our institutions that are really pushing us towards this form of government, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Okay, so why so? Why do you guys want to go that way? Don't you benefit from this capitalism or free market? Why do you want to ditch this while you just benefit from it? I think many of them, most of them, they are not aware of what is happening beneath, okay, underneath.